My name is Myah. I'm a Directioner, certified.
My name's Rob, and I don't know anything about One Direction.
This is awesome.
Maya's made me a presentation.
It is 126 slides worth.
So let's get to it.
Cool. This is my One Direction lore dump. I've been working on this since you asked me to do this.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
It's
ago.
been 2 weeks of prep.
Disclaimer, Rob. This is not a comprehensive list of everything that has ever happened, okay?
Okay.
There's too much to talk about in one sitting. We'd be here forever. It'd be a lot for your brain. So to the people, if they come into your comment section and they're like, oh my God, you forgot. No, I did not. No, I didn't. I chose not to include it because I wanted to pick things that were like fun for you.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Today we're going to discuss a little bit about me. We're going to ask how much you know. We're going to quiz you on some information. We're going to do a brief history, very surface level history, a vocab quiz.
Okay.
So that we can see what you know. Crazy lore, and I think that's it. Yeah.
All right.
So here's some things about me in my One Direction shirt with my tote bag. Speaking of which,
Maya brought her tote bag. Wearing the shirt, by the way. Highlight that shirt. Show it off. Yeah.
check out the ice. It says I love Niall on it.
No way.
Yes. It's from 2012.
Saw them live, or did you buy that at like Hot Topic?
I bought this at Hot Topic. That blue shirt I'm wearing, I bought from Claire's in 2012.
I didn't know they had shirts. I thought they pierced ears.
They had One Direction merch galore
Okay.
in Claire's.
All right.
Like press-on nails, had them. So here's some things about me. I'm a certified Directioner, if I do say so myself. I have a One Direction tattoo because when Donald Trump got elected, Liam died, and then I turned 24, so I crashed out.
Yeah.
And there it is. It's on my arm.
January. You got that in January?
December.
Wow.
It's about 6 months old at this point.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. My personal favorite album is Up All Night, which is their first album. That's kind of a hot take, but it's my favorite.
Why is it a hot take?
Because it's not their best work. It is like kind of bad.
It's early, like after X Factor.
That's very impressive, Rob.
I know things.
Come on.
I know some things. I used to watch the highlights.
Come on, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
My favorite song is Stole My Heart, which is off of Up All Night. Duh. I am a Niall girly. Like, that is my man, my man, my man. I went to the Where We Are tour in New Orleans in 2014. This is where this shirt's from. Fun fact about this shirt. This is not my personal shirt. I bought a shirt at the concert. A month later, I went to a dance convention. I left it in the hotel room.
No way.
Yes, I sobbed the whole 2 hours home. And I was like, Mom, can we please turn around? She was like, no. No, we're not turning around. And then I was a junior in high school or something. I was at the thrift store in my hometown, and I found this. And I had never purchased something so fast.
Same shirt, like the one that you lost?
This is the exact same one that I lost.
That's lucky.
I know.
How much was it? Was it Red Tag Day?
It was like $5.
Nice.
And I paid like 30 for it at the concert. So
No loss. No loss had.
no loss, only gain. Something about me is that I was convinced that I was going to marry Niall Horan at the age of 10. And my mom had to sit me down one day and was like, baby, I love you so much. That's not going to happen. And I sobbed, heaved, cried. I was mad at her for a week.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
Okay.
I like his girlfriend now, so it's fine. My final fun fact is that I indeed got my very first period the morning I went to go see the One Direction This Is Us movie.
When did that come out? Was that like
2013. I was in middle school. I had been planning this with my friends for like 2 weeks, and it was the day I woke up and I was like, this is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life. And then I walked to the bathroom and I was like, oh. And so I like to tell people that I technically became a fully realized woman because of One Direction.
Wow.
So I was miserable,
Yeah, sure.
but I was so happy.
You
to be
went
there.
anyway?
Oh, I went anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
New outfit or same outfit?
Well, the thing is that I woke up in the morning and it had been there, so I got dressed and then went. So
That makes sense.
I did have a panic attack in the bathroom because I was like, everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that like this has just happened to me.
Everyone is talking about it right
Everyone's
now.
talking about the fact that I'm have my first period at this movie, but nobody knew except my mom.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out Jerry.
Jerry.
Shout out Jerry.
Is that G-E-R-I?
Jeri.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I said G. I think I said G. All right.
Okay.
Let us continue.
Let's continue. How much stuff does Rob actually know? Rob, you don't know anything?
I know tiny little things here and there.
Okay.
It's not much.
Because you have a sister.
I have two sisters.
Two.
Yep. But I don't think either of them are very One Directioneers.
Were they like believers?
I think my twin sister went to like MagCon. You know what MagCon is?
Oh, I know about MagCon.
She was into the video boys, not so much the music boys. I think that's the issue.
So like the Shawn Mendes and like the
Cameron Dallas. Nash Greer.
Oh, the Greers, yeah. So did you have any friends in like middle school or high school who were Directioners or?
No one that I was around.
Great. This is awesome. So I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so who's that?
That's Niall Horan.
Oh my God.
That's
Good
your
job.
man.
That's my man, my man, my man. Who's that?
That's a young Liam Payne.
Good job, Rob. Proud of
Their
you.
hair has changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one I least know.
Okay, great.
His name is Louis or Louis
Great.
Tomlinson.
Yes, it's Louis. Who's that?
Harry Styles
Absolutely.
of Harry's house.
Yes, the one and only Harry's house. Who is this?
Zayn.
Wow,
Zayn,
Rob.
Zayn Malik?
Yeah, 5 for
All
5 almost.
Hell
That's
yeah.
really good.
Almost. That was 5 for 5.
Well, you did say Louis,
All right.
but I'll let it slide because you don't
Okay.
know anything. So I want you to put them in order from oldest to youngest based off of the vibe.
No way. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think this is crazy because they're all exactly 25 in my head.
Oh, really? Okay,
they're
great.
all the exact same age
And
in my
they're
head.
all in their 30s now.
Youngest first and up to oldest.
Okay, great.
The young boy of the group is Niall.
Okay.
And then based on what I know about Louis, nothing. I'm going to go with him next. And then rest in peace, Liam Payne, 3. I think because of the one song that I know by Zayn after he went solo, Pillow Talk, I think
Okay.
he's probably the oldest and Harry's right under him. I think it's
Okay.
Zayn, Harry, Liam, Louis,
and
Niall.
Valiant effort. You got one of them right. You got one of them right, so that's really good.
Which one did I get right?
You got Liam right.
Liam.
He's right in the middle.
Okay.
Louis Tomlinson is the oldest
Okay. I didn't see that coming.
because he just looks so small.
Yeah.
And then it'll be Zayn,
Wow.
Liam, Niall, and then Harry is the youngest. We're about to talk about their birthdays because I'm also going to make you guess their zodiac sign.
Okay. All right. I can do it.
Yeah, you can. These are the birthdays of the boys. And based off of their vibe, I would like you to tell me what you think their sign is.
I thought you would come here just like saying information, but you're like quizzing me in interesting ways.
You thought I would be boring?
No, that's not what I
My
said.
God.
You're cherry picking.
I'm trying to cause a fight right now. When I was putting this together, I was like, no way that like they actually have these signs, and it makes sense that they didn't last because you have 2 Capricorns and 2 Virgos in one group.
Obviously. Yeah. Not to mention the Virgo and Aquarius. Like that's just never going to work. I'm almost like, wow, they're all so close together, but they're all like not at all.
You're like not
They're
at
all
all.
just part of the calendar. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know these dates.
You do. You live them.
Complete vibe check,
Yeah.
vibe-wise.
Vibe check it.
I'm going to go Harry is the August 29.
Okay.
Liam is a January 12. I think I actually know Zayn is the Christmas Eve baby.
Okay.
Niall is the Aquarius.
Okay.
Louis is 9/13.
Okay, great. That was a flop. August 29th is Liam's birthday. January 12th is Zayn. December 24th is Louis. February 1st is Harry. And Niall is September 13th. In order from oldest to youngest, it's Louis, who was born in 1991. Zayn was born in 93. Liam was born in 93. Niall was born in 93. And then Harry was born in 94.
That was hard.
That is hard.
That was really difficult.
Yeah, granted that you don't know it. Okay, guess the believed personality type trope of the boys because they were marketed in a very specific way. So we're going to go in order from top to bottom. So whenever I hit the space bar, it'll be Niall and then Liam, Harry.
Okay, all right. Niall is like the boy next door.
Okay, is that your guess? Final guess?
That's my Niall guess.
Sure.
For sure.
That's a really good.
Cute and Irish. What are you talking about? All right.
I didn't come up
All
with
right.
the rules.
Now that I know what kind of game we're playing, who is that? Number 2? Is
That's
that Zayn?
Liam.
Okay. Liam. How do I go off of cute and Irish?
It's hard to top that one.
Liam is hot in German. Sexy and smart.
Why do you think he's German?
I don't really know. Okay. Cute and Irish, sexy and smart. One of Harry's adjectives for his personality type is going to be sweet.
Okay.
Sweet and funny. Sweet and funny is Harry.
Okay, you're not going to be ready for this.
Hot and dangerous? No way.
Yes way.
All right. Okay. Zayn is hot and dangerous, right? Sweet and serious.
Okay, that was pretty close.
Quiet and mysterious. It rhymed.
It did.
It
That's
did
really
rhyme.
good.
I have no guess for Louis. Based on, context clues of all the words on the screen, there are 8 of them. I should be able to make this happen. Louis has to have the word sweet. I think the word sweet is actually finally here. Sweet and funny. I'm just going to go sweet and funny.
Okay, great.
Funny and adorable.
That's
hey!
really close.
Okay, that's half a
Good
point again.
job.
Also
Yeah.
with Louis. Is he low-key my favorite?
He might be. This is One Direction of Brief History.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready
Let's
for it.
buckle in.
Let's do it.
We're going to start from the very, very beginning, Rob. X Factor UK Season 7.
Okay.
So you know that they originally auditioned as solo artists.
Yes.
So we're going to go in order from when we saw them in the episodes. I'm giving you the full Directioner experience by only showing you the clips that we saw in 2010. So first we have little Niall.
He's so small.
He's so small. Oh, so he auditions in episode 2 in Dublin, Ireland. He's 16 and he sings "So Sick" by Neo. Do you want to watch his audition?
Yes, let's watch it.
I'm Niall Horan, I'm 16 and I'm from the Mullingar in the Midlands of Ireland.
Oh,
it's not a bad
he's so
comparison.
Irish.
So
I want to sell out.
I feel like I'm 9 years old again. I love Irish people. Yeah, I suppose. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's not what Neo says.
I gotta change my answering machine.
No one sounds good
Right
live.
now it says that we.
I just think that maybe you should work on it. You're only 16. I started out when I was 15. I didn't make it till I was
Don't
23.
care, Katie.
Shut up, Carrie.
I'm prepared.
Carrie, shut up, Carrie.
Wrong song. Well, I'm going to say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
No way.
I'm going to say yes.
Of course, you're in.
Wow, he got like 3 feet on that jump.
Listen, that's something about Niall. He jumps. He jumps. He has bad knees because he jumped too much.
That's so funny. He did it. Look at his
He
Irish
did
family.
it. I was like 9, 10 years old and I watched that and I was like, that's for me. He's mine. Then we see little Liam Payne.
Oh, his hair.
I know.
Are all their hair like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Liam auditions in episode 3 in Birmingham, but this is his second X Factor audition.
Okay.
He went through the X Factor at age 14 and he went a really far way. And he ultimately got cut because he was just too young.
Yeah.
So he waited 2 years, he came back, he auditioned again, he sang Cry Me a River by Michael Bublé. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's see it.
Liam auditioned for the X Factor in 2008 and has been
deep
waiting 2
V-neck
years for
is
his
crazy.
second chance to impress.
Deep V and the hair swoosh.
His heart was broken when Simon didn't believe he was ready.
He was really young though.
It was
Yeah.
gutting to get thrown. I know what it's like to be thrown out.
And now you say you're lonely.
I don't know why I thought all their auditions were like bad.
He knocks them out of the park.
Simon's face is crazy.
The standing ovation from Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a yes from me. Yes from me, definitely.
Almighty yes.
Liam.
Yeah, he did it. Good for him.
Who's next?
Harry Styles.
Harry.
Harry Styles. He auditions in episode 6, Manchester. He sings Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Look how freaking small he is.
His hair looks curlier.
It's so cutie. Especially now since his hair is basically straight. Gemma!
Gemma?
Queen Gemma, that's his older sister.
Gemma Styles? Is his actual last name Styles?
Yes.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Harry Styles.
I'm Harry Styles.
I work in a bakery.
Harry, and what are you going to study at college?
Law, sociology, business, and something else. but I'm not
Damn.
sure.
What's he majoring in?
Here's the thing. I don't think that would have worked out.
Isn't she lovely?
Ooh.
Isn't she wonderful? Made from love.
Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I think you're so young. I don't think you have enough experience or confidence yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, someone in the audience.
I am going to say no. 'Cause I don't think
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm going to be agreeing with Nicole. You're through.
Yay, so he did it.
Yeah.
So then we see little Zayn.
Zayn.
Malik.
What is that photo of him?
That is a picture of him with his little number.
Okay.
So he sings Let Me Love You by Mario at 17. He does not get a full segment. Harry is the last full segment we see.
Okay.
So we only get like a little clip of it.
A little piece
A
of
little
Zayn.
piece of Zayn. 40 seconds long.
My name's Zayn.
My name's Zayn.
What are you going to sing?
You're the type of woman to good things.
It's so blurry.
Then they stopped him? Yeah. Oh, okay. Damn, they really cut that down. Mm-hmm. That's all we saw of Zayn.
And then finally we also
Louis.
see Louis, your man,
My
Louis.
man.
It's kind of unsure when exactly he auditioned because they show us a clip of his audition during a boot camp episode. So
Okay.
after they've already said yes to him, he sings Hey There Delilah by the Plain White Tees.
Okay.
My name's Louis Tomlinson. Oh, it's what you do to me.
No.
Oh, it's what you do to me.
Yes.
What you do to me.
I'm saying yes.
I'm saying yes.
3 yeses.
3 S's. This is all we got in 2010.
That's all you got of him? Mm-hmm. I bet no one was rooting for him. I bet everyone was like, this guy sucks. That's a bad audition.
But here's the thing. We didn't know until 2022 that's the second song he sang.
That's right.
So he sang something else that was in his register, and then they were like, can you sing something else? And he pulled that out of his back pocket. But yeah, that's all that we got in 2010.
That's wild.
Yep, and he got 3 yeses. Now, all of the boys have made it through to the X Factor.
They're in the X Factor.
They're in the X Factor.
Okay.
So the boys go through boot camp, which is like basically them kind of doing an intensive to learn how to be a superstar.
And all of them at this point are all like
Solo artists. Yes. So I'm going to give you a little clip of boot camp.
Okay.
Because this is one of my favorite videos of all time.
The Lady Gaga.
And there's Liam right there. And that's Harry. There goes Liam.
Oh, go Liam. The feet are crazy.
Yeah. So that's a little taste of boot camp for you.
Okay, I would hate boot camp. Could you imagine being watched while you dance to Lady Gaga?
And you're not a dancer.
Yeah.
They are not dancers. All 5 are cut on the 3rd day of boot camp, but they are saved by the judges.
Okay.
So they started doing this thing like a little bit before this season where some people that they thought had potential, but not as a solo artist, they would create a band and put them back in the competition to see if that would work. The guest judge places them into a band.
Whoa, who was it?
Nicole Scherzinger? Is that how you say her last name?
I don't know who that is.
She puts them into the band. All of them get cut. They're like sobbing, crying, like all these things. And then she's like, these little boys, they're so cute. What if we put them into a band? And
She's
like,
a genius.
She is. Well, she's a Trumpy now, so.
Oh, never mind.
But so she puts them all in this band. And Simon Cowell for years is like, yeah, I created this band. And then later, whenever the X Factor releases all this unseen footage, it's Nicole who puts them in the band.
That's crazy
Yes,
lore.
it is crazy lore.
I thought it was him too.
No. And then there's always been speculation of like who was the first one to be picked or whatever. And it was Niall.
Whoa.
Niall was the first one that she plucked out of the group and was like, I want to put him in a thing.
Wow.
And like stacked all their headshots together and was like, this is it. And like the quote that goes viral all the time is like, the little girls are going to love them.
I've heard that before. I didn't know that's what this was from.
That's her.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay.
One Direction is born on July 23rd, 2010 at 8:22 p.m.
How do you know the time?
Directioners just know the time.
Okay.
This is their first picture as a group. I think Anne took this picture, Harry's mom.
Pretty good photo.
It is. So that's whenever they became a band. And so then during boot camp and things, the artists will like do these things called video diaries. So it helps you to like get to know them because the X Factor I do think has a little bit of a voting situation. Do you want to watch a video diary?
Let's do it.
This is a random one. They're always in the stairwell.
I think he's got a temperature now.
Oh. Louis so silly.
I'm a song!
They're just boys. They're just a bunch of boys.
This week's song is going to be lots of fun and a little bit different to what we've done the past 2 weeks. So.
She's mine!
He's funny.
Also
Louis is
have a
funny.
question.
Triangle.
Triangle.
I always thought
Look at how friendly they are together.
I know, they were best buds.
I bet you ate that up when you first saw that.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole phase of being a fan where you sit there and you type into YouTube One Direction funny moments and you watch it for hours. So they're a little rocky in the beginning stages of the band because they don't know each other. Their vocal styles are different and their goals were different. They get better and they do their weekly video diaries and they grow a fan base. And so all these people really like them because they're really cutie and they're fun and they're not your typical boy band. They're kind of like redefining what a boy band is.
Nerdy, haha, funny boys.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is?
Kind of. They're like boys next door, just regular guys. Because whenever you think of boy band, you think of like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
And they're always in the same like outfit and they're doing the choreography or
That
whatever.
makes sense.
And they're just not like that. They don't dance and they don't, I mean, they wear coordinated outfits, but not the same ones. They get better every week. They sound better. They're just getting better the whole time. And then they get 3rd place on the X Factor.
A 3rd? I thought they would have won the X Factor. Okay.
They lost the X Factor.
Who won that year? Is it anyone that I would know?
No.
Okay.
I can't even tell you who won.
Okay.
Like, their success off the show is so much bigger than the person who actually won, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
They lost, but they got the thing that the winners get. They signed a deal with Psycho Records.
They were that good?
They were that good, and the people loved them so much that they got the benefits of winning the show without winning the show.
Good for them. That's crazy.
So I'm about to show you a video of them on the X Factor.
Okay.
This is not their best work.
You know what? I've actually seen this video
You
before.
have?
Viva La Vida.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All of them were just waiting for their turns to sing.
Yes. Sing it, Niall.
The arm. Who's eyeing? Niall with the hand.
Yes, I'm gonna cut it there.
They're killing it though. They're absolutely killing it.
It's not their best work, but it is really awesome. And then they release an album.
Okay.
They released an album a year after the X Factor. The X Factor, I think they got eliminated in December of 2010, and then they released Up All Night November 2011 in the UK. It releases in the US March 13th, 2012.
Okay.
And some lore about me is that I became a fan of theirs between them getting eliminated off the X Factor and before this album was released in the UK, because the What Makes You Beautiful music video was released in August of 2011. And I remember being excited for it to come out.
Whoa. You were early. You were really early to the train.
I was online as a child, and whenever they blew up, I was like, who is this?
Who is this? This is interesting to me.
So it debuted at number 1 in the US, selling 176,000 copies in its first week. They were the first UK band to debut at number 1 in the USA with their first album.
That's huge.
It is huge. Bigger than the Beatles.
Whoa.
Yep. Beatles didn't do that. Third best-selling album globally in 2012.
That's crazy.
It is
A
crazy.
new band, their first album.
The first album is like bubblegum, boy band, pop music. This one is my favorite, even though people may not like that. And my favorite song is Stole My Heart off of this album. I'm giving you a little bit of lore about me. So here's some fun things that happened in the year of 2012.
Iconic 2012 moments
Yeah.
from One Direction.
Yes. They opened for Big Time Rush.
I didn't know this.
Yes. They were like soft launching them to the US, and they opened for Big Time Rush. They were also
That's
on
cool.
Nickelodeon.
I guess I didn't realize that Big Time Rush was like overlapping with One Direction at their peak. And I
Yes.
didn't realize Big Time Rush was touring.
Oh yeah, like they're a fictional band, but like they did stuff like Hannah Montana.
I didn't know Hannah Montana toured. Did
You
Miley
didn't-
Cyrus tour?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I begged my mom to go to a Hannah Montana concert. And I
I did
couldn't go.
not know that.
Yes, like it was like a thing. Haylor starts.
What's Haylor?
Haylor is Harry Styles and Taylor Swift
Oh.
in a relationship.
They were actually dating?
Yes.
Okay.
Like on and off.
I would think Taylor Swift was older than Harry.
She is.
By how much?
He was 18 and she was 23.
Oh, that's fine.
So yeah, Haylor
It's
starts.
almost weird.
It is almost weird, and it started a whole thing.
Haylor. Why wouldn't they call it Terry?
That's a great question, Rob. I don't know.
Okay.
They do their first ever Good Morning America performance for 15,000 people
Like in person?
in person.
That's crazy.
They were supposed to do it inside, and then they moved it to outside, and there were 15,000 people waiting outside.
Damn.
They did their first SNL performance.
Whoa.
They performed at the Olympics closing ceremony.
They've been busy. 2012 was a huge year for One Direction.
Yes. Like, this is their first official year as a band doing stuff, and they are doing it. They get a store in New York City.
There's a One Direction store.
There was, yeah. In New York City and London, and I'm
Can
sure.
we go?
I don't think it exists anymore.
We should open a One Direction store.
That's a genius idea, Rob. They do their first Madison Square Garden performance, December
Damn.
3rd, 2012.
They really did like all of the milestones
Yeah.
for a band.
Fast.
That's crazy.
And then they had the Haylor New Year's Eve kiss, and it blew up the world.
It was on camera.
Oh, yeah. People recorded them. They were like in Times Square as Harry Styles and Taylor Swift.
That's kind of sweet.
It was sweet, but everyone was like freaking out.
And
I
was,
did too.
He was 18 at the time and she was 23. Mm-hmm. It's almost weird.
It is almost weird.
Yeah.
Moving on. They released Take Me Home,
Okay.
their second album.
That was quick, right?
Yes, they are pumping these albums out.
These
like
MFers out.
they are pumping them out. So it was released November 9th, 2012 globally.
Okay.
It debuted at number 1 in the US with 540,000 copies sold in the first week.
That's a lot more than last time.
Fourth best-selling album globally in 2012, and that was only released like a month and a half before the year was over.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. It's the same pop sound, it's just a little bit more mature. My favorite song of this album is Come On, Come On.
I don't know either of the songs that you've chosen so far.
That's okay.
Okay.
We don't have to.
Are they deep cuts, you think?
No, they are so good. Like, Come On, Come On is like a banger. Now we're going to go 2013. Since all the albums are being released at the end of the year, we're going to start doing the iconic moments of 2013. Take Me Home tour starts.
All right.
So, like, they are going on tour. They're releasing an album. They're going on tour. They're releasing an album. Like, it is nonstop for them, which is crazy. They do their One Way or Another Teenage Kicks cover for charity, and they release it, and it's really awesome. To the point where I thought that One Way or Another was a One Direction song, and I heard it on the radio, and I was like, this is not One Direction.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, what? And I was like, this is a One Direction song. And she was like, no, it's not. Niall Horan got his braces off.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes, it was huge. I was on Twitter that day being like, y'all better not come into Niall's lane if you didn't like him without the braces. Like, I was like fighting people on Twitter that day.
You had him first.
I did. Fabulous magazine cover. Changed lives. Are you ready to see it?
Yeah, let's see it. Whoa.
It changed people's
They're
lives.
bad boys.
Yeah.
They're all wearing like USA colors.
Yes.
But they're not even from the USA.
No, they're not. Not even close. And they're wearing
Interesting.
their bandanas and their whatever. Zayn and Perry get engaged.
Okay.
Perry is in the band Little Mix.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So Perry Edwards, they like get engaged.
That's huge.
It is huge.
Isn't he like 19?
Yeah.
He's young.
Yeah, they're like 19, 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and they get engaged. They released their first perfume, and I did have it.
You had the One Direction cologne?
The perfume, yeah.
Okay.
I did. And I still have it. I'm saving it for my maybe one day wedding day.
Wow. Mm-hmm. What if it's like horrible?
No, I smell it every time I go back home, and it still smells so lovely. This Is Us gets released, the movie.
I didn't know there was a One Direction movie.
Yes. There are...
Like a tour documentary?
No, it's like well, kind of. This is like their second movie. They have an Up All Night tour doc, and then this is like a movie about them and their success in their tour.
I didn't know they had all these movies out. Mm-hmm. I just thought they made music.
No.
Okay.
They have things, and then that means in 2013, so I was 12, and that is when I grew up. Harry Styles wears a lilac cardigan. It changed
That is...
lives.
Harry wearing a lilac cardigan was one of the iconic 2013 One Direction moments.
Yeah.
Can I see it? Do you have a photo of it?
It's not in the presentation because I wanted to see if you were going to ask. You want me to pull it up?
That color is what did it?
Yeah.
I guess I can understand that.
Yep. And 1D Day happened.
What's 1D Day?
We'll be getting more into that later.
Okay.
It's later on in the presentation.
2013 was the first 1D Day?
Yes, and the only.
There was only... Okay. All right.
So then we get Midnight Memories, released November 23rd, 2013. Debuted at number 1 with 546,000 copies. First band since 1967 to reach number 1 on their first 3 albums.
Wow.
And it was the best-selling album worldwide in 2013.
Damn.
And this was more rock and roll, had a little bit more of a mature sound, and it was a little bit different. And Something Great is my favorite song off that one. It's a slow song.
Okay.
It's really good. So now we're going in 2014.
The iconic 2014 One
The Where
Direction
We Are
moments.
tour happens.
Okay.
This is where my shirt is from. I saw them at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Liam breaks his arm.
Oh.
It's really not iconic. It just is something that I deeply remember because in my concert he had his little cast on his arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. They did an episode of Sesame Street.
Cute.
Which was a big deal for the annoying people, which is me. Hindle starts.
Harry and Kendall.
Kendall Jenner.
Really?
Yes.
Haylor's over?
Haylor had been over, and then you have Harry and Kendall.
Okay.
Zayn has a strand of hair on his forehead at an event.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Perfect. It changed lives. My One Direction concert, woohoo! Woo! Yeah, their new album leaked 10 days before the release.
That's horrible. How did
It just
people
happens.
do it?
It just happens. Midnight Memories also leaked before.
Okay.
Like a week before its release.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
10 days prior? That's
Yeah.
like lots of missed out sales, I think.
Yeah. And they had a performance and press for the new album in Universal without Zayn.
I think I know what's coming up.
He was sick.
But he's not leaving soon. That's not happening yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was on the way to Orlando, Florida this day. I was so upset because my family and I were heading to Disney World for Thanksgiving break, and they were in Universal Studios. And as they were doing this press, I was on the road. And I think at one point I looked out the window and I just cried.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hey, that's okay. 4.
As in their 4th album?
Yes.
That's really clever.
I know. So they released this in November 17th, 2014, debuted number 1. First band in history to have first 4 albums debut at number 1 in the USA in the first week of sales. It was more of like a 80s-esque, slower folk pop sound.
Yep.
So it didn't sell the best globally, but it still set some records, which is really cool. And my favorite song is Fool's Gold. That's another song. Hi,
Fool's
Emma.
Gold.
Hey, Emma, do you have something to say? Wow.
All right, okay.
Okay, iconic. Oh.
Spring 2015. What could possibly happen?
I have no idea.
Spring
what
2015.
could possibly happen in the spring of 2015?
Don't tell me.
Zayn left the band.
How did you find out that Zayn left One Direction?
I was in English class. I am 14. I just had a birthday. Mind you, this day is 9 months after my One Direction concert. And I'm in my English class, and I think we're reading Midsummer Night's Dream. It was like a work at your own pace day. And my friend was like, Myah. And I was like, what? She was was like, Zayn has left the band. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I was too much of a scaredy cat to pull my phone out at school. So I didn't fact check. I just was like depressed. And so I went and I sat at this podium in my English teacher's classroom all by myself, and I just put my head down. And that's how I stayed for the rest of class.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Hey, that's okay. I did not do my work that day. And then I got really mad.
Wait, so at the end of the day, like you had your phone out.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me how that goes.
I blacked out. I don't remember. I like went on twitter.com, and that's all I remember. I don't remember.
Well, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Because now we're here.
Yeah.
But
Things are better.
Things are better.
Things are good.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. People were like posting on Twitter, like with their bags like this, and they were like scratching Zayn's face off of the things. And
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, and they were like cutting him out of posters and like all kinds of stuff. I didn't have the heart to do that. I'm glad I didn't, because now my stuff is still awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, people were like...
They all left the band now.
Yeah, they did. So I'm about to break down the timeline of how this happened.
Okay.
They are on the On the Road Again tour. They've just released 4. They are already on tour. They're in Thailand. And on March 18th, Zayn is papped with a mysterious woman. We don't know who she is. I have no idea. And then that night, they perform their last show together in Hong Kong. And then on March 19th, the next day, Zayn is signed off from tour for a few weeks for stress. And he flies home.
He's lying. Something's up.
And so then they do a few shows as a 4-piece, and we're like, this is so weird. And then on March 25th, 2015, they start their show in Jakarta, Indonesia. And as they hit the stage, it is announced via Facebook that Zayn has left the band.
Whoa.
Yes.
Was it on like a pre-made text Canva document? You have it. It's just text?
It's just text.
After 5 incredible years, Zayn Malik has decided to leave One Direction. Niall, Harry, Liam, and Lewis will continue as a 4-piece and look forward to the forthcoming concerts of the world tour and recording their 5th album, due to be released later this year.
Yep.
When you read that, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that it won't work without Zayn?
No, I was like, I think this can work. I think it'll happen. But I was just like, I don't understand why he would do that. I was like, I don't understand. It was so sad because you've seen them from 2010. You've seen them for like 4 years now.
Yeah, and you were like, all of this was during your formative years.
Yeah.
Right? So like you were along the ride.
Oh yeah.
That had to have been hard.
Yeah, like the unhealthy attachment I had to them was insane.
No one really knew about like parasocial relationships either. So I know lots of people were like personally affected by not only this, but like the whole disbandment.
Yeah.
So that's crazy that it just randomly dropped. Do you know if people were like talking about it? You heard murmurs about it, or was this it?
There were like worries, I think, because leading up to this, you could tell that their energy was off on stage, and you could tell that like a lot of things, like they weren't really happy. And there was like a show right before where Zayn was like crying on stage, and we were like, what is going on? As fans, we were like, we just think that they're overworked, like if they just take a break, because like for now, since 2011, they have been pumping out albums and going on tour, and they haven't stopped. They have taken no breaks. So we were like, okay, so they are just exhausted. They're overworked, like they should take a break. And those were kind of the murmurs. And then it was just like, he's gone.
Wow.
Zayn says that he leaves the band because he'd like to live a normal life. He wants to have private time and get out of the spotlight. He just wants to chill, which is fair. I mean, you get in a band at the age of 16 and you don't stop for 5 years. You're 22 now. I understand, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, it's fine. I think that they could do it. And especially considering that they were doing it already before they announced that he was gone. Like those past few days, they had been performing as a 4-piece. And it was good. They were doing fine. So I was like, I think this can work.
Yeah.
The best part of Zayn leaving was that Niall got his solo in No Control. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, if that's what it takes, I guess I have to be okay with it.
Niall wasn't one to get a solo?
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
It's in the slideshow. And now we have our iconic 2015 moments. There are not that many because they didn't last that long.
Yeah.
On the Road Again tour happens. Woohoo! Harry Styles wears his first ever Gucci suit.
Wow.
It's a big deal. Zayn and Perry call off their engagement.
I was wondering that. So the woman that you mentioned Zayn was seen with in Thailand, was that not Perry?
That was not Perry.
Zayn.
Yeah.
Zayn. Pillow talk.
Pillow talk. They do tattoo roulette on the Late Late Show as a 4-piece. It was really awesome. Surprise release of the first single without Zayn. They just dropped it with no press or nothing.
That's cool of them, I think.
It was cool. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I felt a disturbance. And I was like, they did something. And I checked my phone and it was just dragged me down. I was like, this is awesome. And then they announced their 18-month hiatus.
Wow, they were like, it's going to be 18 months? That's weird of them, right? Mm-hmm. Did it end up being forever?
Yeah. Yeah, it is as life as we know it.
Wow.
Yeah. They've announced their hiatus, and then they released the album. So they released this on November 13th, Made in the AM, November 13th, 2015. It's their first album to not peak at number 1 on the Billboard Top 200. It got the number 2 spot because, life is different now. But it did break their record for Spotify streams, 106 million in the first week.
That's a bunch.
It was a bunch. And it was slower, more folksy, nostalgic, sad. And my favorite song is What a Feeling. That one's a bop.
What a Feeling. Is this the one that has night changes on it?
No, that was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good effort, though.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So, yeah. So now they're dead.
Wow, the tombstone that you made.
Thanks.
That was all you?
No, that was a pre-built graphic on Canva. So that's it. That was very surface level.
Oh, rest in peace, One Direction.
Rest in peace.
You
One
really
Direction.
took me on a journey. The
I did.
rise and fall.
So now we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a vocab quiz, Rob.
I think I'm ready.
Because we used a lot of weird words.
All right, okay. I'm ready.
All right, we're going to speed run it. What does this mean?
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
Carrot?
Yeah. What does that mean?
I have no
not
earthly
even,
idea.
Not even a guess.
In terms of being a One Direction,
Yeah.
it has to be like something that Niall said.
It is based off something that Louis said.
Okay.
This is a term for a new fan of the fandom.
A carrot.
A carrot. Because a very iconic joke is that in the video diaries, Louis is like, I like girls who eat carrots. And so it's like, that's like the first thing you see whenever you're a new fan. So you're a carrot if you're a new fan.
That's awesome.
Yes. Next word.
Potato directioner. I don't know.
Great. So a potato directioner is someone who is really cringy and only references the old overused jokes. So me, throughout this whole thing.
Okay. All right.
And I accept that about myself.
Do you think being called that is a bad thing?
Yes.
And you don't want that?
Yes, you do not want to be called a carrot or a potato directioner because it means that you don't really know what's going on.
It's okay to be a carrot, but don't be a potato.
Like it's okay. Like it's okay to be a carrot, but it is also kind of like, where were you?
Are all of these like vegetables and roots? Or
No.
just these two?
Just these two.
Okay.
What is this?
Directionator. Is that like you know how Taylor Swift, people who say that they're a Swifter are actually fake fans?
Yes, Rob.
This is like...
Yes,
Yeah!
this is correct. This is someone who's a fake fan, someone who mispronounces their names, or it's only likes Harry, or only likes the singles, etc., etc.
I'm like happy with myself over
You
getting
got
that.
one. That's
I got
really
one.
good.
Oh, okay.
Good job.
All right, hit me with another. Kevin. Kevin. Okay, Kevin means everyone has a Kevin. Meaning they are the Kevin Jonas of One Direction.
Okay, great. So Kevin is a pigeon. He's a plastic pigeon that Louis would bring along in the Up All Night video diaries.
Louis is my top dog right now.
I love that for you. So yeah, he's a plastic pigeon.
Okay.
And he was around a lot, so.
What's happening? Like it's coming off like a thing that one of them says. But who says it?
That's the question.
Zayn. I think Zayn says that.
Yes.
Hey, yeah.
Good job, Rob.
Was his catchphrase?
Yeah.
What's happening?
What's happening? He was always on the live streams of what's happening. It was
All
really
right.
cute.
All right. How many R's? People don't know how many R's were in Harry's name.
No.
I don't know.
Well, that's a really valiant guess. So the boys used to do these live streams, and there was a time when Louis and Harry did a prank call on the live stream, and they prank called someone, and they gave the name Terrence with 6 R's.
That's actually really funny.
It was really funny. So that was kind of a way for people to be like, do you know what's going on?
Yeah.
How many R's are there?
Whoa. Crazy.
Because it wasn't like a video diary. It was like a thing that they did.
Yeah, it was like
on their
a
own.
long form live stream that you have to get deep into for the inside joke. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't get this right, you were a carrot or a potato.
Yeah, or a directioner. It depended on the other things that you knew.
These are like bad words to say in the fandom.
Are. Mm-hmm. If you ever got called a directioner and you weren't, you were like fighting for your life. You're like, no, I'm not. It's like,
prove that you're not a directionator.
Prove it. There's 6 R's.
Stop the traffic, let them through. Like, is it a paparazzi fan thing? Like they had to get through? What does it mean?
It's a dance move by Louis. I'll demonstrate.
How do you do it? That's actually really, really cool. Louis made that? Mm-hmm. Louis!
Yeah.
Louis is my man.
He is your man. What is this one?
1, 2, 3, and flick. This is more dance. This is another dance thing.
It
But
is.
this must be like a Niall dance.
Close.
You do like a 1, 2, 3, and flick. flick.
That's pretty close. It was Liam.
Liam.
And
okay.
it was with his hair. He would like shimmy and go like 1, 2, 3 and flick his hair. What is this?
Time to Zayn. I have no idea what this means.
After Zayn left the band, this really just meant that we had to go.
It's time to leave. That's hilarious. That's really funny.
Yeah. What is this?
1 band, 1 dream, 12 nipples. 1 band, 1 dream, 9 kidneys. You know what? I know this.
Okay, great.
I know that Harry has 4 nipples.
True.
This math means one of them has only 1 kidney.
Yeah, correct.
So I don't know.
So
I don't know who doesn't have a kidney.
So this was a play on their catchphrase, which was like 1 band, 1 dream, 1 direction. And so we would, whatever. Harry had 4 nipples and Liam had a missing kidney.
Wow.
So that's a picture of Harry with his 4 nipples. Do you see them?
Is that one in the center?
It's like 1, 2, and then there's 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
They look like little birthmarks.
They're nubbins.
Yeah, nubbins. And then we believed for a long time that Liam had 1 kidney, but it seemed that via this tweet, he had 2. It's just that 1 didn't work right. But he did say, so now I have 2.
Hashtag weird news of the day.
Yeah, so we were under the impression that he had 1 kidney for a really long time, and then we were like, wow, his kidney grew back.
I hate that I wasn't online when people didn't have like
Filters.
media people.
Mm-hmm. It was the best time ever. What's that?
Chance. That's how Harry says chance.
That's really close. That's how Niall sings it in 18.
Oh, okay.
That was really close.
How does it go? Is it give me
We
a
took
chance?
a chance. God knows we tried. And everyone would be like, what does that mean? And, like, people would scream it during the shows. And like,
Chance.
Chance.
Spoons.
Yeah, what's the significance of spoons?
Spoons? One of them plays the spoons.
Okay.
And I bet you it's Louis. Louis plays the spoons.
Great guess. Liam had a phobia of spoons. So we as directioners didn't use spoons.
Wow.
In solidarity.
How would you eat soup? How would a One Directioner eat soup?
We would just drink our soup, or we just would suck it up and use a spoon. But like, if we
Okay.
could avoid a spoon, we would.
That makes
use
sense.
It. But it turns out he didn't actually have a phobia of spoons. He just had a dislike for like restaurant spoons because they are dirty.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. There were like weeks at a time where people on Twitter would be like, "This week we're not going to use spoons," so we wouldn't. What does that mean?
YN fanfiction lingo.
Good job.
Your name.
Good job,
Yeah.
Rob.
Okay. I understand
Great.
One Direction was huge in fanfiction. Right?
Yes. So here's some crazy lore that I love. Fan fiction.
All right. Fanfiction.
So you sent me a tweet a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, I don't know what this means, but I know that you do. And it was about being sold to One Direction.
Yes.
Great. So that is kind of a thing that happened. So first of all, I'm going to show you some imagines.
Okay.
This is what someone made and then posted online. People would be like, imagine Niall or Nui or Zayn or whoever says this. And anytime they talk to you, it'd be YN. Your Twitter name, your eye color, or your hair color. And this is what we had to work with.
Your name did incredible and everything went smooth. Smiley face. So proud of her and I'm lucky to have her. Your Twitter name.
Yeah.
Love you, baby.
Yep. I had just given birth to our child.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
In 2016.
Yep, sure did. I was 15.
15 years old. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rob. So here's another one.
Management is trying to force Harry to break up with you. While on the phone, he takes one look at you and shakes his head. She's my everything, so don't you dare take her away, and hangs up the phone.
He really showed management who's boss.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's another one.
This one's long.
Yeah.
Harry, hey Zayn, what are you doing? Trainer, I suggest you do not bother him, Harry. Harry, why? Zayn, some guy was hitting on your name. If any guy gets near her, I will kick his arse so hard he won't be able to reproduce. Same goes for you too, mate. Harry. Asterisk. Remembers the time he hit on you. Asterisk. Ooh, okay. Well, look at the time. I should get going. It runs the other way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then I have some other random ones. So Niall's face when he gets this text. Hey, babe, I can't make it to your show tonight. I wish I was there with you right now. I'll make it up to you. I promise. I love you and miss you so much. Have a good night. Have fun. And then here's a pregnancy one.
I'm not going to read all that.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry, though.
So yeah, you're just pregnant. With Harry's baby. And then these are some really silly ones.
What are you doing? Waiting. Niall, she died a year ago. She promised she'd come back.
Yeah, and then this is the one where you have a baby with Zayn and then you die in childbirth, and then he's like crying.
He knows that you can't survive this. He promised you that he'll be there always. When the nurse arrives with the baby girl, he immediately takes a baby and say to her, Angel, just like your mom, and start crying.
Yeah, yeah. So then here's some really crazy ones that became memes. This is my favorite one.
Niall Horan crawling inside your ear. You tell him to stop, but he is in there.
He's in there.
No. The teeth one? Who do you think gave me the teeth?
That was my review for The Substance.
Good movie, by the way.
So-
Liam, I'm a superhero. Guess my name. Iron Man? Superman? Smiles. You're a man.
In the year of our Lord, like 2012, 2013, we really got in this kick of like editing them to be like bad boys.
Yeah.
So they would have these like ear piercings and facial piercings and tattoos, and that's just not how they were.
No.
And we just wanted them to be. And so this phenomenon kind of started a whole other type of thing. And we're going to touch base on something called After.
After by Anna Todd.
Yeah.
The Wattpad sensation.
Imaginator 1D was her handle. This is a fan fiction that was posted online about Harry Styles, and it was a cultural phenomenon and eventually became a book series and eventually became a movie.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about it. So it's a fan fiction trilogy that was uploaded to Wattpad.com.
Okay.
And each of these stories is like 100 chapters long.
It's a long one.
It is what's called an AU fan fiction, which means that it's an alternate universe fan fiction.
I would have guessed Australian.
Oh, great. Because, like, there are some fan fictions where they are, like, their self and they're famous. Like, I think I remember this one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I remember this one where I read it, and it was like I was in the mezzanine of a concert that they were doing, and then I fell out onto the floor, and I, like, passed out. And then they, like, brought me backstage. They were like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then, yeah, I fell in love with them. And then they also have the ones where you get sold to them. Like, your mom is like, "I hate you, and I need drug money, so I sold you to One Direction." And then you get, like, Stockholm Syndrome, and you fall in love with one, if not all of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but this one really transformed the world because
Okay.
it was like a complete AU, totally different. It was not them at all. So all of the boys are in it, and they're these like troubled college students. It takes place in Washington State University, I believe.
Okay.
They're all at this college. This girl named Tessa gets involved with Harry Styles. Tessa is a good girl. She doesn't really do anything like wrong. She has this high school senior boyfriend. She's a freshman in college, and you know she's there to be an English lit major. And then they have an incredibly toxic relationship, like incredibly toxic. Like they move into an apartment together within like a month or two of knowing each other. They fight all the time, and that's all that they do is just like fight and fight and fight.
What happens next?
There's a love triangle.
Okay, with
Tessa, Harry, and Zayn. And Tessa doesn't really want anything to do with Zayn, but she uses Zayn to make Harry jealous sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it got published into an actual book in October of 2014. It got published into an actual book while the third book was being written online.
Okay.
Yeah. And it has over 2 billion reads online and has sold 15 million copies worldwide and is translated in 35 languages.
Translated is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're reading it on paper and the names are Harry and Zayn? Or is it changed to not be a fan fiction? Okay, the character names had to change.
Well, yeah, because she used their God-given legal names in this story.
Yeah.
And so they had to change the names for legal reasons.
Yeah.
And it's also changed online now, too. So even if you read the original source material, the names are different.
Interesting.
Liam is Landon, Niall is Nate, Louis is Logan, Zayn is Zed, and then we have Hardin, Scott.
Harden.
So yeah, and then it became a full actualized book. I ran into someone at school, in high school one time, who was reading the book. And I was like, "Hey, you know what that is?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, it's a Harry Styles fan fiction." She said, "No, it's not." And I said, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, okay.
And I walked away.
Potato Directioner.
Potato Directioner.
Obviously.
So now it's a movie.
How is it? Have you seen it?
I've seen it. I've seen all of them.
There's more than one movie.
Yes.
Are they good?
No.
Okay.
But they're great. I love to watch them.
Is it like 50 Shades-esque?
Yeah.
Is it Twilighty?
No, it's not Twilighty, but it is 50 Shades-esque. But like I had to watch it for the culture because
Yeah.
I was like, you used to be a Harry Styles fan fiction, so now I gotta watch you. So it came out in April of 2019. It grossed $69.7 million worldwide.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, kind of a...
You have to make more after that.
Yep, it had a score of 13 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I want to see if you can know who this person is. This is Hardin Scott.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Like the actor?
Yeah.
No.
That is Baby Voldemort. That is Ralph Tiffin's nephew.
I bet that was huge for some people.
Oh, it was. It was huge for me because I was like, oh my God, that's Baby Voldemort. He's the Voldemort that's in the orphanage that sets
Yeah.
the cabinet on fire. That's him.
Wow.
That's Tessa. Do you know who that is?
No.
You know that girl from 13 Reasons Why? That's her sister.
Oh.
That's
okay.
Josephine Langford. There are like 5 books. The third book in the trilogy got turned into 2 movies, and then there's like a prequel. It's a whole
Damn.
thing. That's how Harry was intended to look, or that you wanted to imagine him as in the book.
Yeah.
And that's how he looked in the movie.
No. That's not Harry.
No, but they did give him like Harry's tattoo. So he has like a rose tattoo, and he has like birdcage tattoo. He has a ship tattoo. And it's believed that Harry has like a cease and desist or like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing where they're like, you can't talk to me. It's
Yeah.
believe that he has that against the
Yeah.
this book. That's how Liam was supposed to look, a typical boy next door, and that's how he looked in the movie. They both look very studious.
Yeah. The vibe is there.
The vibe is there. And then this is supposed to be what Niall looked like, and then this is him in the movie.
No. No, it's not.
This is how Zayn was supposed to look, and this is how he looked in the movie.
No.
Do you know who that is?
No, I
That's
don't.
that guy from Glee.
From what?
From Glee.
From Glee?
Yeah.
Which guy?
Oh, what is his freaking name? He has the dreads and he plays the guitar and he sings all the Christian songs.
I don't know who it is. I haven't seen that much Glee.
But yeah, that's him. And then this is how Louis is supposed to look. And then in the movies, he's not there.
They cut Louis
They
out?
cut him out of the movies.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't really care. I was just like, I'm watching this for the culture.
Yeah.
So that was... Oh. So that was about after. So it was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
You should watch the movie sometime.
After the movie.
It's like after, and then it's like after we collided, and after we did something else.
And after we fell.
After we fell.
After we grew.
Ever happy ending. I watched them all in one day. It was great. So now we're moving on to the iCarly episode.
What is it called? Is it called I Party with One Direction?
I Go One Direction.
I Go One Direction. The iCarly episode.
This is whenever they were trying to soft launch them in the US.
This might be one of the first times that I recognize them.
Good.
Watching iCarly when I was younger.
That's awesome. So here we are on April 7th, 2012.
With
there
Tebow.
they are.
They're with Tebow and Jerry Trainer.
Yeah, they are. I love that picture. So do you know anything about this? You do remember the story?
Of the episode?
Yeah.
They like iCarly and they wanted to be on the show.
iCarly is like world famous, and then they get this like email from their people, and they're like, "We want One Direction on the show." And yeah, they are like huge fans, and then they get on the thing. So
2012. This is like right after.
it's right, they filmed it January of 2012, and they came out right after the album was released. So
They had
yeah,
a quick turnaround for the.
so they were really hard launching them in the US.
Yeah.
So the story is that they get there, they rehearse.
Yeah.
Harry Styles drinks out of Carly Sherry's water bottle and gets jungle worms, and then he lays in her bed for like a week, and he's like sick.
This is like a fan fiction.
Yes, exactly. They're like, oh my gosh, how do we get him to be out of bed? Like, they have to do this performance, blah, 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 blah. But he's like enjoying his relaxing time. So then they come up with this idea and they replace him with Gibby.
Oh, that's right. Noah Monk.
And then Harry's like disgusted at the fact that they could replace him like that. And then he's like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'll perform. And then they perform What Makes You Beautiful, and it's great. And this is Harry's first acting gig. And then he goes on later to do movies.
He did Don't Worry, Darling.
Sure did.
And he did Dunkirk.
Sure did.
And he did one other thing.
My Policeman.
My Policeman.
Yep. There was a theory that Harry and Miranda Cosgrove were supposed to have a kiss in the episode, and then they didn't because Niall had a crush on her, and Harry said no.
King.
We don't know if it's true, but that was just a theory.
Wow.
Next is
The Calder Triplets.
Triplets.
I have no idea what this means.
Oh my god. This is a theory that Louis's girlfriend Eleanor was 3 different people, and that they were in rotation whenever they were out in public.
Why would they do this?
You'll see, because there are instances, I'll admit, that she does look different in each picture. And so, like, the theory was that they weren't actually in a relationship, but they were keeping it up for the cameras or whatever. And then they had 3 different people in rotation. And their names were Eleanor, Gretchen, and Tina. And this is them.
Gretchen and Eleanor look kind of the same, but
Yeah.
Tina is not the same person.
Yeah,
they all have like yeah.
Fans went as far as to like look at their hairline
Yeah.
and their nose bridges. So they would compile pictures and then like organize them by who they thought was who. And then they also talked about height differences. So like in this picture,
Yeah.
she's shorter, and then they look to be about the same height, and then she's a little bit taller in this one. So like people thought it was different people. And then the other crazy one is that there's a theory that this is Liam.
In a wig?
Yeah.
Liam in a wig and
Yeah.
sunglasses?
Does that not look like Liam in a wig?
No.
It doesn't?
Maybe kind of.
To me, it does look like
Maybe
Liam
it
in a
kind
wig.
of does. What is this called then?
It's just Liam in a wig.
No, I mean like Liam and Louis. Is there a name for that
Yeah.
shit?
Lilo.
Lilo.
Moving on.
Ellie Goulding, Niall Horan, and Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. So there's believed beef because Ed Sheeran and One Direction, they were really good buddies. Ed Sheeran has written 3 songs for One Direction. They were good buddies. And then Sheeran joined the band for their performance at Madison Square Garden in 2012.
Okay.
So they were really good buds. And then there were rumors. So in 2014, Ed Sheeran releases the song Don't off of his album Multiply. And there was speculation that Ellie Goulding and Ed Sheeran were in a relationship at the time. Mm-hmm. And there was also speculation that Niall and Ellie Goulding were in a relationship around the same time. And that she had possibly cheated on Ed Sheeran with Niall.
Ellie.
And then in 2015, it is further believed because he stops writing songs for them, saying, quote, they don't need as much help anymore.
Whoa.
And people were like, whoa.
Where did he say that? Do you know if that was like a TMZ interview or was it like a text?
Remember. It was like he said it out loud.
Oh.
So yeah, and so here are some song lyrics from Don't. So the song is about Ed Sheeran falling in love with a girl throughout their situationship, and it is like heavily implied / confirmed that it's a musician.
Okay.
Via the line, me and her, we make money the same way, 4 cities, 2 planes the same day. So we're like, okay, great, it's a musician. We understand that she apparently cheated on him. And then he says, I never intended to be next, but you didn't need him to take him to bed, that's all. I never saw him as a threat. It's not like we were both on tour. We were staying in the same hotel floor.
Whoa.
So
okay.
the theory is that like Ellie and Ed Sheeran and I guess the One Direction boys were all staying on the same hotel floor for some reason, probably an award show maybe, and that Ellie and Niall got together.
Wow.
And then that song was released.
Wow.
And the thing I'm about to show you, Ed Sheeran says, I never saw him as a threat. And this is the Niall Horan he was talking about.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Personally, me, listen, he's got something going on. However, it is believed that is not true because since then, like Niall and Ed Sheeran have like performed together, and like Ed has been like, no, that song is not about him or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, but more recently, like Niall and Ed have performed together on the show World Tour. So it's just a theory. Speaking of Niall,
let Niall sing.
Yes. This is a movement. This is an online movement started in 2012 after the release of Up All Night. I was a warrior.
Yeah.
I was on the Twitter fighting the good fight because on Up All Night, Niall only had 1 minute, 24 seconds of solo time.
Yeah.
Versus Harry, who had about 7.5.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the girlies were mad. And then on tour and stuff, there were like technical difficulties with his mic sometimes. You couldn't hear him. And then there were rumors that he was going to be a musician for the next like album. And so everyone was like, no, like we need him to sing. Like we love him so much. There were change.org petitions made. There were tweets made, all kinds of stuff. I was a warrior. Here's some pictures of that. People would just write it on their bodies and take a picture of it and post it on Twitter.
It like worked, I bet, too.
Yeah, he got more solo time on Take Me Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was like all these rumors of like people would take random pictures. Like I'm pretty sure this picture of Niall and Harry, I'm pretty sure he has something in his eye, but they were like, Niall was crying on stage because his mic got turned off. And I was like in my room like seething. I was like, how dare you? So yeah, there's that. What do you think that means?
Conchobar Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Is it like a rumored child?
Yes.
Okay.
Good
Tell me
job,
about
Rob.
Conchobar.
So in 2015, there were rumors that circulated that Louis was having a baby with some rando.
Oh.
Which turned out to be true. Confirmed on live television on Good Morning America. Because like I think Hoda was like, Louis, you're expecting a child. And he was like, yep. And everyone was like, oh my God.
Oh, just like casually, yep.
He was like, yep, sure am. And like at the time, everyone was like making conspiracies about like, this isn't his kid. Like this is a Justin Bieber Maria situation. Like, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And then the baby was born on January 2016.
Damn, so he has a 9-year-old.
That was quick math.
Thank you.
There's a lot of theories that the baby was not Louis, but I will admit on this pod, on this couch, they are twins.
Yeah.
They look just alike. And I was a person that I was in denial. I was like, he's not having a baby. That's not true. The baby's name was never announced, but someone started a rumor that his name was CONCHOBAR.
CONCHOBAR?
Yeah, except it was pronounced like Connor.
That's hilarious.
I have no idea where the rumor started, but it just like blew up.
CONCHOBAR?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I have truly no idea.
Concobar Tomlinson.
Yeah, and here are some memes about it.
We took a chance. We took a Conchobar.
Overlapping.
Yeah, there it is. Why'd they name him Conchobar? Isn't Louis British? Conchopub.
Yeah, so there are a lot of memes about it, but then
Yeah.
his name is Freddie.
Damn, I had no idea that happened.
Yeah.
That was after Zayn left.
It was after Zayn left, right before the hiatus started.
Oh, so that was like lots was going on in his personal life, I bet.
Yeah. And we're
The Puke Shrine.
Yes.
Tell me what the Puke Shrine is.
So on October 12th, 2014, Harry Styles, the night before, went to Lily Allen's party. And then he was driving on the 101 freeway in Calabasas. And he pulled over and he threw up. And somebody put... And here's a picture of him on the side of the road.
People are like watching.
Oh yeah, somebody took a picture of him as like paparazzi or something, and then fans found the exact road, and then they put up that sign, and it stayed there for years. It's dated. It has a picture of him.
This is crazy.
It's great. It's a national monument. I think somebody went there and tried to like sell the dirt that was on the ground.
Hell no. Hell no.
They did. They tried to sell it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The Puke Shrine.
Yeah. And then, like, he knows that it exists, too. He's been asked about it.
That's insane. I would...
And, like, I didn't put it in the slide, but there's actively a picture of him, like, hacking.
No wonder he's, like, gone. Harry hasn't been out in public in 2 years.
The most recent thing he did was go see the new Pope be announced in Italy. He was just in the crowd. Yeah.
This is insane.
It's insane. I love it. It's great. I want to visit it one day. Now we're going back to 1D Day.
What's 1D Day?
Okay, so 1D Day was a 7-hour live stream to promote the release of Midnight Memories in 2013.
Okay.
I watched the entire thing at my grandmother's house, locked up in a room all by myself. I was like, I'm so sorry, Granny. I have to go. They played games and they tried to set world records. They spoke with special guests and let fans listen to the music early. However, the album was leaked a week before.
Oh.
So people already knew. But it was really fun because we got to just watch them do stuff. Jerry Springer hosted a section.
Of course he did.
It's really random.
Yeah.
They set 0 Guinness World Records, even though they tried. They like tried to do like put on t-shirts or like stack things and like pop balloons, and obviously they didn't win. There were a lot of really awkward technical difficulties.
Oh, I bet everyone loved it though.
Oh yeah, we loved it because they would just stand there. And then this also took place on the same day as like in the UK, it was like the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. So it was a big day for the British people. And Harry made a girl cry.
Like a bad cry?
They were doing a segment and she got excited and he yelled at her. I was like, shut up. And she cried. And then he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then Niall dyed his hair lavender and it changed the world.
Okay.
It changed my world.
He's rocking that.
He is.
He's rocking the lav.
Yeah. So yeah, it was 7 hours.
It's a very long time.
And it was a whole lot of nothing. And they took like shifts. So they did like pairs of 2 for each hour. And like Liam boxed somebody. And it was like, yeah.
Fans hacking cameras and getting personal information. So I've read online and I've heard a lot recently about people knowing what airplanes that One Direction was on.
Yes.
Were you one of those people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't hacking, but I was on Twitter keeping up with it.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Here's some pictures.
Those are their passport photos. Why do you have their passport photos?
I don't have it.
This is them in underwear in the hotel hallway.
Yes, it is. That's their blood types.
Why do you know One Direction's blood types?
I'm not the one who found the information.
You put it in a PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's available.
They're on the elevator.
That's Zayn drunk on an elevator. And then this is Niall's birthday. He was like, I think I was born around this time in the morning. And that girl was like, you were born at 8:04. You missed it. How do you know that?
How do you? That's awesome.
I was not the hacker, but I did watch people hack.
That's crazy.
The people say we're dedicated.
Yeah. That's a word for it.
That's the word.
Haylor Vehicular Manslaughter Theory.
Yes.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay, great. So the Haylor Vehicular Manslaughter Theory is relatively new, but Haylor happened during One Direction, so I thought it made sense.
Yeah.
So this is a theory that Taylor Swift and Harry Styles committed vehicular manslaughter during their relationship in 2012-2013, and that they are telling us about it in their music.
All right. Tell me more.
So in 1989 is all about Harry, right? Cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This song is called Style, you know.
Yeah.
And the theory is that this song is about them committing the crime. And here's some quotes from the song. One quote is, "You come and pick me up, no headlights."
Yeah.
In the car. He can't keep his wild eyes on the road. And this could end in burning flames or paradise.
Wow.
Those are some of the evidence that's in the song. And I Know Places, this is theorized that this is them hiding the body, themselves or the body. Taylor says that she knows places that they won't be found, and she knows places they can hide. And the lights flash and will run for the fences. She also says loose lips sink ships all the damn time, but not this time. They are keeping it down.
Yeah.
And then in the dead of night, your eyes so green. That's a giveaway because Harry Styles has green eyes.
The dead of night, too.
The dead of night.
They killed someone
exactly.
with a car.
Exactly.
It has to be. It's the only logical explanation.
Exactly. And so then in Out of the Woods, Taylor's like, did we get away with it? And she was like, remember when you hit the brakes too soon? 20 stitches in a hospital room? Confirmed Harry Styles has a scar under his chin.
When he killed that person.
They say that he got it on a jet ski accident, and I do believe that, but I'm just keeping up with this for the theories. So he does have a scar under his chin where he got 20 stitches. And then Taylor's like, are we out of the woods yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we good? And then she's also like, when you started crying, I did too.
Well, yeah, because it's horrifying.
It's horrifying to kill somebody. And then Harry Styles' Sign of the Times, this is basically him kind of admitting to the crime, and he sings about like, stop your crying, it's gonna be okay, we gotta get away from here, and you can't bribe the door on your way to the sky, which is obviously being like, you can't bribe, you did something bad.
Yeah.
You can't bribe it now that you're on the way. And Harry has admitted on multiple occasions that this song is about death.
Yeah.
And in Two Ghosts...
There's more?
Yep. And in Two Ghosts, Harry's trying to figure out the relationship post vehicular manslaughter. He's saying that they're not who they used to be. Like, they're just two ghosts standing where they used to be. The same lips red, same eyes blue, same white shirt, whatever. Taylor Swift has blue eyes. He has a few more tattoos. He got a few tattoos while they were together. And he's like, but it's not you and it's not me. They're just shells of who he used to be post vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
So do you think it's true?
It has to be. All the pieces are
They
there.
just fit perfectly.
Zayn and Louis fall out.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Zayn and Louis are kind of like a power friendship. They were like one of the best friendships of the group. And so do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lie.
The post was a lie?
No, his reasonings were a lie. Because less than 24 hours after this announcement, Zayn's in the studio.
Okay, so he doesn't want out of the spotlight.
No.
He just wants to do it alone without the boys.
Yes.
Less than 24 hours after the post,
yes.
he's man bunned up?
Man bunned up in the studio with Naughty Boy.
Crazy.
So a couple of months go by or whatever. So May of 2015. So this is like 2 months after. Liam Payne posts on Instagram. It's a picture of like a street musician or something. And the caption is fifth member ? LOL.
Yeah.
Like they've been trying to make light of the situation for 2 months because they're like, we can't be sad. And then Naughty Boy responds by saying, replace this on Twitter.
Naughty Boy. That's a horrible photo.
Yeah. So Louis responds on Twitter and he says, remember when you were 12 and you used to think Mac filters for your pictures were cool? Haha. Some people still do.
Hell yeah.
And the Naughty Boy says, Louis Tomlinson, and some people can't even sing, but who's complaining when there's auto-tune, eh? Deep cut.
What are they doing?
They're fighting on Twitter.
That was 14 minutes later. They're like texting online and everyone's watching.
They are fighting on Twitter. And then Louis says, forgot you were such an in-demand producer. How does it feel to be writing on the back of someone else's career?
He got him.
Even though, Louis, you're kind of in the wrong on this one. Naughty Boy did work on that one song with Sam Smith that's like, la la la.
La, 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 la.
So then Zayn responds and says this.
Zayn.
Yeah.
Remember when you had a life and stopped making bitchy comments about mine? ? That's not nice.
And that's a minute
Zayn,
after. That is 1 minute after Louis tweets back at Naughty
Zayn
Boy.
did not have to do that. That was kind of out of pocket.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
It made me really sad.
This was 10 years ago this month.
Yeah, it was really devastating because they were really good friends. And then obviously this guy is like, nobody really knew who he was, like, because he's not really the face of the songs that he produced. He just was the producer. And everyone's obviously mad at him because Zayn is teaming up with him post leaving the band.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, they fell out.
What happened next? Do you think the internet...
That was it.
That was it?
That was
Radio
it.
silence?
That was like they kept tweeting and doing things, but talking to each other,
I would bet they hit the DMs for a second here. Or their management probably emailed each other.
Maybe.
It's like, boys.
The next time that we saw them interact was at Liam's funeral.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Hobama. So
I
we're
actually
segueing.
think that I maybe know what this is.
Okay, great.
This is Harry and Michelle Obama.
Close.
Is it Barack?
Yes.
What? Okay, I was wrong.
In 2014, a rumor started. Somebody photoshopped this tabloid. And I thought it was real for a really long time.
Obama hid gay lifestyle to be president. Marriage with Michelle is a sham. He had sex with this man. And it's Harry Styles.
Yeah. So it really blew up.
No way. These are all so good. I can't even point out one. They all look so real.
The one with them in the air is like really iconic. Like everyone uses that one.
This is crazy.
It's really good. So this rumor snowballs for years, right? Harry was asked about it.
On BBC?
You had a sexual relationship with Barack Obama.
Legally not allowed to say.
You want to see a picture of him?
Damn, it hurts.
He's funny.
Yeah. So
I think Obama was real.
Obama is real.
I want to go on the record.
On the record, Obama's real. But here's the thing is that he came face to face with Michelle Obama.
Oh, what was that like?
Ready?
Oh, he killed.
Yeah.
She killed him.
Yeah. Yep. So it goes as far as that. So
that's what he gets, though.
That's what he gets, like, for wrecking a marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
Between the president and his awesome wife.
The first lady.
Literally. Okay, I think this is the last thing that I made a slideshow about. It is the most shocking, the most horror-inducing scary thing that we went through as a fandom.
I'm on the edge of my seat
The
about this.
worst days of our life.
Mr. X. I have no idea what this could be. I have no idea what Mr. X is.
I'm not going to get this lore right. Sorry to the people. Because it's a lot. And it's
Tell me
messy.
what you know. I want to know what you know.
There was an anonymous Tumblr account called Mr. X on Tumblr, and they claimed to personally know the One Direction boys. And so people would ask them questions, they would do polls, and they would give really cryptic insights to the boys and who they were as people. So it kind of felt like we had a way in to actually know them and not just the persona that the band has created.
Yeah.
And we were like really into it. And then a second Mr. X account popped up on Tumblr Anonymous. They would go into details about romances and ships and theories and romances and all that kind of stuff. There were people who shipped these boys every which way with each other. And so this account would like really deep dive into that. And then a believed third account popped up on Twitter as Mr. X and started to post riddles.
Riddles.
Mr. X was also on Omegle, and you could potentially find them. Like, if you put in Mr. X or if you put in One Direction as your, like, search or, like, interest on Omegle, there was a chance that you could be matched with a person who had an all-black screen, and it would be Mr. X. But obviously there's a chance that all of these people were pretending to be Mr. X, but it was freaky.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, Mr. X, is that you? And then he'd be like, yeah. And then like you'd ask questions and it'd be really scary. And like the person wouldn't talk. It would only be message on Omegle. And Mr. X constantly spoke about like a storm that was happening within the fandom and to the boys or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was more specifically that the fandom was kind of the storm and that we were like hurting them in a way.
Whoa.
And that like a storm was like coming. Like he was always like, the storm is coming.
It's
or
on
whatever.
its way. Yeah.
And lots of talk about how one will fall and how some fans may not survive like the carnage. And we were like, what are you talking about? And then Mr. X makes a post about the show at Madison Square Garden that's coming up.
Yeah.
It's a death threat. Mr. X threatens to kill one of them.
Oh, that's really not good. That's
No.
like legal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, this is not the original one. I couldn't find it. I was digging for hours. I stayed up until like 4 a.m. last night digging for it. Couldn't find it. Mr. X had created these like riddles, poems, and like limericks, basically, and was like threatening that one of them were gonna die, if not all of them were gonna die at Madison Square Garden. And we were obviously like, oh my God, because it was their first Madison Square Garden show. They had only just released Take Me Home. So we were like, that can't happen. So here's another one. This is really long.
It all rhymes, it looks like.
It kind of does. And so this one like kind of points that like Harry will die. So it's like the one with the curly hair and the emerald green eyes. Such a pity it is to see the doom arise or whatever. And then they talked about like birds a lot. And Harry had bird tattoos at some point. Ooh. But they kept being like, your little birds, like one of your little birds is going to fall out the nest and die or whatever. So all of us were like up in arms because we thought that someone was going to die. There was a rumor that somebody at the Madison Square Garden show got arrested with a firearm. We don't actually know if that's true, but it was a rumor.
Yeah.
And we were afraid. We lived in fear for like weeks and weeks on end because we thought that somebody was literally going to kill them.
Anything come of it?
No.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened to Ray. But like we were convinced that one of them were gonna die. Like people were there and they were live streaming and there were like thousands and thousands of people on the live stream to like keep up with whether or not they were gonna die.
Yeah.
I was one of them. That's all I have.
Wow. You really took me on a journey.
I did. I hope I did justice.
So all of that wasn't even like
No.
most of what you know.
No.
There's more lore, there's
Yes.
other media.
Yes.
I know there's an animated series. Mr. X mentioned someone will fall.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
If you mean it in the context of what I think that you do,
Yeah.
is so soon.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have
But
to.
I don't think that is obvious. I don't think that that's connected. But
Yeah, no,
it is where like
I was on Twitter. I was in my bedroom. When did it happen? When did Liam Payne
October
pass?
16th, 2024.
I was in the other room. And I opened up Twitter and I saw that it happened. I checked all my sources because I know that I have buddies like Myah that this would hit.
Yeah.
And I know that like Liam was a controversial character.
Yeah.
I'm all over Twitter every week, and I know recently people were talking about hashtag the fall of Liam Payne.
Yeah.
And it was just unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say about it.
That's all we have to say about
No
it.
more.
No
Thank you
more.
so much. I have one thing prepared.
Okay, great.
I didn't realize you would have all this deep lore for me. And we kind of covered this, but I just want to prompt you with One Direction superlatives. You off the cuff, name which member comes to mind
Okay,
when
great.
I say things. Okay. Speed round,
Yep.
One Direction superlatives. Best hair.
Harry.
Class clown.
Louis.
Cutest couple.
Ooh, I'm gonna say Liam and Danielle, considering it's the time that this probably came out.
Cool. Okay. Worst dancer.
Ooh, Zayn.
Best dancer.
None of them.
Most likely to succeed.
Niall and Harry.
Name that sounds most like an adjective.
Harry.
Yeah. Best solo song.
Ooh, that's really hard.
Name 2.
Okay, I'll say Sign of the Times by Harry Styles and Small Talk by Niall Horan.
Cool. I don't know the Niall one that you named. I don't know any songs by him.
Bruh.
The only solo songs I know, obviously Harry has had like a huge rise outside of the band. Watermelon Sugar High. Hello.
Come on.
Pillow Talk by Zayn.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Those are the only 2 artists who I can name solo songs from.
Okay, great.
Who had the worst solo projects?
That's not my opinion, but we have to say, I mean, success-wise, it will either be Louis or Liam, but I'm personally not saying that they're the worst.
I've noticed that Niall is kind of on the the
Yes.
Niall's having
Niall
his
Renaissance.
moment.
Yes, he is.
That's
my
happy
boy.
for you.
Thank you.
Really happy for you. Okay, best dressed
Ooh, I would say Niall at this point in time.
right now?
Yep.
All right, worst dressed.
Liam at times.
Okay.
Sorry.
Quarterback.
Quarterback?
Yep.
Ooh, that'd be Liam.
Why Liam? Is it just athlete? Is it the...
No, like his role in the thing was like the dad.
Yeah.
Or like the glue.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
That's all I have for
That's
for
all you
those.
have?
Yep.
Great.
I want to address one more thing.
What is it?
I heard or I read that one of the members married one of the judges that got
Yes.
them into X Factor.
Yes.
Who was that?
Liam had a child with Cheryl.
Yeah.
She was a judge the first time he auditioned at age 14 and also the second time he auditioned at age 16.
We watched her.
Yes, they have a child named Bear.
Is it kind of weird?
I would say so, yeah.
14 years old. If I know you when you're a kid, you're always
You're
gonna
always
be a
going to
kid.
be 14.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
I just have to thank you for your time. This
Oh
has
my
been
gosh.
awesome. This has been so great.
This has been the best project I've ever made.
All your slides look so good.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Myah, you want to have like your @? Do you want to plug
Sure.
yourself?
You can follow me on Instagram at Myah Harper, MyAHHARPER, no spaces, no dots, just the word.
You can follow me at Rob Latrello, ROBLALTRELLO. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.
And if you hate me or the things I say, kill me or shut up.
Shut up. All right, bye.
Bye.